guys, welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute FAQ Homeschooling. So tonight I'm going to be talking about basically how to integrate homeschooling into your life. This may go over 5 minutes, warning. It is a lifestyle. It is a kind of a whole life consuming sort of deal when you homeschool. It's great. I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way, but I just want people to be aware that things change around your home when you're homeschooling. It's different. It's different even, I feel like, probably than virtual learning and things like that, because you're kind of responsible for finding places for all of your curriculum and this and that, and structuring your space to try and accommodate that. So, it can get a little tricky sometimes. I have been really lucky to almost always have a dedicated space for my homeschooling. This is mine. I'll pan around a little bit here. This is my homeschool room. There's my bookshelf, and it's going to be our plant stand over there, and whiteboard over here, and here's my desk and all that. Quick pan there. Sorry about that. So I've been lucky to have a space where I can stretch out, put a map on the wall, put some whiteboards up, and have some dedicated space. But that doesn't always work out for people, especially if you're living in a smaller space or this is your first time doing it and you haven't made a career out of it like I have, essentially. Like, this is my office, right? So you kind of got to find what works for you. If you can multi-use your space, a lot of homeschoolers do it at the kitchen table and just have a couple of bookshelves with their curriculum in it, and pull out the maps when they need to from a closet or onto the table or whatever. So sometimes you just have to get a little bit creative about your space and all that. If you're able to do a dedicated space, that's great. If not, just work with what you have. And don't forget, you can do it on the couch if you want to. My first several years of homeschooling, I will admit that I spent a good amount of time trying to recreate a public school at home, which meant that I felt like I needed to have a certain kind of desk and like handwriting strips at the top of the desk, and all the trappings of a public school. And over the years, I've sort of kind of let that go and developed my own style, and figured out that like having a public school desk does not a great education make. So so we mix it up a little bit. And I do try sometimes, like, hey, let's just go sit on the couch and do our schoolwork, or hang out in the living room together on the floor or whatever. Again, we're going to be doing hammocks in here to help everybody get comfortable. And take it on the road, be mobile with it, all that. It's okay to do school in odd hours, to not have it be your, 8 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon kind of deal. If you need to do stuff at 6 in the evening, do stuff at 6 in the evening. Just fit it in where it works for you and works for your child. You can extend learning a lot by talking about stuff in the off hours, I have found. I don't ever assign homework because everything is already homework. So I don't do after hours stuff. So my kids are not spending their time studying after hours. When school's done for me. But that doesn't mean we're not talking about things. When we cook, when we clean, when we, whatever, we talk about. I try to extend kind of the concepts that we're talking about and work it in subtly and not so subtly in conversation. And that is kind of the hallmark of homeschooling, that all of life is a learning experience. And I think I've said before, if I teach my kids nothing else, I want them to have a love of learning, an ability to find information, and a drive to go and do that. To me, that's the most important thing I can impart to my kids. And that means that our whole life is centered around learning and education and family life and all those things. So that said, meal planning, if you can do it, is sometimes really helpful, because it's a lot to juggle mentally, to go and make your kid breakfast and then come and do some schoolwork, and then take a break and go and make your kid lunch, and then come back and do some schoolwork, and then have to deal with making dinner, and then and then conduct the rest of your life. It's just kind of, it's a lot. It's kind of exhausting, especially if you're not used to being with your kiddo all the time. So if you can kind of plan that out, make it a school project to make lunch together or make breakfast together. So I've had 5 sons and 1 daughter, and we have tried with every one of them to get them into the habit of being able to make several different meals that we can say, hey, I need you tomorrow morning to, make breakfast, or I need to put you in charge of lunch tomorrow, or, whatever. Make that part of the learning experience. Sometimes pick a new recipe or just pick an old recipe and just get the job done. But planning that out a little bit can really help. Just to kind of mitigate that exhaustion that kind of comes with managing your whole life and managing your whole school as well, especially if you've got more than one kid and you're managing a one-room schoolhouse. That takes a special kind of juggling. So the more advanced planning you can do on the other aspects of your life to give you freedom to kind of stretch out with your homeschooling, the better. So yeah, thanks for joining me on this episode. Next time we'll talking about selling the situation to reluctant children. Thanks, guys.